Hello YouTube. I'm doing a Tranny service on a 2018 Malibu. I got about 50,000 miles on it already. I'm going to put, I am very high mileage, so I'm going to put some of that in there. It's just like a conditioner. And then it calls for 6 quarts of this if you go to AutoZone. Obviously it'll look different if you go to GM to get it. Them are about $8 a quart. I went to GM and asked for a filter because I don't know if you can see it, but normally you do a filter change, and right there, the black down there is the whole pan. It's actually on the front of the transmission. So it's a lot of work to get it off, and I was like, there better be a filter under there after I take it off, and they're like, there is, but it's behind one of the packs. And my furnace kicks on, so you can probably barely hear me. But if you take that off, mine don't have a dipstick on it, which really sucks. But if you take that off, then you gotta take out one of the packs, which I would never ever do. And the filter's behind it. But then they said some people have a Malibu tranny. You gotta take this housing apart right here. See the bolts right there? And there's a filter that runs straight off the pump. Either way, I am not doing it. So, to service this, right there is the drain. I would, you can measure it out if you want. If you pull it out and then go to the back, there's a tranny mount right there. This is gonna be a short video. I ain't doing what I did on that Lancer every step because people still ask stupid questions. And then you go back here, and on the driver's side, let's see if we can see it. Driver's side output shaft, there is a plug right there. You have to fill it up to that plug after you drain it, which is a pain because right there's the cradle. It's not easy to get to, and if you go out further, I guess you could get a direct shot, but you're gonna have to have some type of tube set up to put it in there, and it's a very tiny hole. But it'll fill it up. They said 6 quarts, I believe 6 quarts. And yeah, that's it. That's all I'm showing on this video, because either way, people ask questions and I don't have the answers for it. Okay, I'm gonna make the video a little longer. If you take the driver's side tire off, right there's the fill port. That way you don't have to push fluid up. You should be able to put a bottle like up here or something and run it down. But yeah, it's 11 millimeter. 6 point, don't use 12 point. Sorry that the video is so pieced together. To take out the battery, there's this clip on the left side of this. If you have the e-start thing, clip right there, and this thing just pops off after you take the clamp off for the battery, which is, you just loosen it. Okay, the videos I've watched on YouTube and the information I got was wrong. You pull that out, it's totally full of oil. It shot it everywhere. So I got looking, and I have the tranny. Either way, I'm not doing a filter change. You gotta remove all this, and I doubt if you can see it, but right down there is a cap. There you can see the edge of it, right to the left a little bit of the 80. That's a cap, that's where you fill it. So I'm gonna measure out what I take out and put the same back in through that hole. And the only reason I'm taking the battery out now is because I actually reached down there with my hand and took it off, and it looks like I can get a funnel to it without doing all this. But I dropped the cap, and it did not hit the ground. So unfortunately, I got to take everything out to find that cap. And it's not like I can see underneath the battery tray. Even with a scope, I don't think I can get down there. So I got to remove all this. But if you can get your hand down there, I got my hand down there, and it's normal size. You can take the cap off, and you can shoot a funnel down there. I got the funnel to fit, and I do something most people don't, even when I do an oil change. With the drain plug plugged, I pour like a cup of fluid in it, the fluid that's supposed to be in it, and it'll flush out the old, because there's always a spot, just like a neck on a sink or something, that's holding just a little bit. I got the cap. Doesn't say anything useful on it other than a gear fluid, so that's tranny. There it looks like. That's what it looks like without the battery. If it focuses, come on, there you go. And if you move this to the side, see, you can see the hole straight down. That moves. Some of these wires are mine, but yeah, this would be. There's funnels to get to that. The battery I would not recommend taking out. This is the original battery in mine still. 700 cold cranking amps. And this is not a battery they would change for free at AutoZone. No turning back now. Now they say this tranny doesn't need service that much. That is pretty dark for only 50,000 miles. And I normally change it every 30, but miles got away from me. It's really dark brown. It doesn't smell or anything. And there's no, since you don't take the filter off, I can't really find a magnet. And I pulled out the bottom drain plug. I'm gonna pull out the side one too, but nothing's magnetic to catch all them clutch materials. Okay, I got it all drained out, and that's 5 quart. I put it into my used oil thing so I could measure it out. I drained some on the floor, so I'd say about another half a quart. But if we're calling for 6 quarts, this is only 5 quart, and we didn't even fill it. And if I put another half a quart in there, we're about almost 5 quart. And I have no leaks. So with no dipstick, how are you supposed to know how much to put in? And it could drain for hours more. I stopped when it started dripping. But I think I'm going to put 5 quart back in and see what it does.